Yes, absolutely. Whatever thoughts I had about chapters 3 and 4 before I actually got to experience it for myself, it doesn't even matter anymore because I was completely blown away. Again, coming from someone who played Undertale and from someone who was deep into the fandom as a kid, Toby had a very small team working on Undertale, and he didn't have as nearly as much support or funding or experience with making a fully fucking game as he does now with Deltarune. And it really shows that with a proper team, with more people taking on things like the music, the art, the story, how to tell that story, you know, this project just feels like an upgraded Undertale in every single sense of that definition, except maybe for the programming, because that's still a little wobbly here and there. I'm not saying that it plays bad or anything, or the gameplay is not stable. It's more of the chapters, the way that they're presented when you're going through the game. It's a lot less streamlined than you would think it would be. It's sort of like each chapter is its own game. Each chapter has its own save files, and you would sort of feel like it would be more condensed, for lack of a better word. But again, that's not really taking away from the actual gameplay or from anything else that's going on in the game. That's just one of the small gripes I have with it. I think the art in chapter 3 would be my favorite, just because of the whole old school Zelda maps that you're going through. I loved that section, and also the boss fight at the end that I'm not going to spoil. I'll save spoilers for the second half. But the music in chapter 4, holy shit, the best music in the game so far. I would say compared to chapter 1, there definitely is this noticeable shift of oh, this is a funny, silly time, you know? This is the period of the game where you're not supposed to take shit seriously. And then when chapter 4 hits, at least, there's actual stakes, there's actual shit and people and things to worry about now. And I think the culmination of all this is either gonna make the ending of this story that's happening either really, really hard to pull off, or it's gonna be really, really unexpected. I can't tell by this point in the game. I can't remember where I heard this, but it sort of feels like chapters 1 and 2 were the prologue, the setup for the story that's taking place, and 3 and 4 is the chapter 1. It does sort of complement the overall story that's happening. I'm kind of more interested in what's going on here narratively than I was in Undertale, because that game was designed to be short. You really don't have to sink that many hours into Undertale to really understand what was going on. Sure, there were some unanswered questions at the end, but that is where Deltarune is coming in and readdressing those, as well as introducing you to new characters and new places and this whole new fucking thing that's going on. And that is the core of what's catching my attention right now with the story, at least. Okay, second half of the video, I'm going into spoilers. First things first, the fucking Gerson fights. No, actually, now that I think about it, all the new boss fights, extremely creative, especially the Gerson fight, in my opinion, though. I sort of think it's very appropriate for the midway point of the story to finally be experimenting with the combat gameplay. Jesus. That's sort of the structure that Undertale had, to a sense, because if you remember from Undertale, when that shit starts happening, when people start messing with how the actual combat plays out, with the Flowey fight, the whole fucking screen is just one big battlefield, and the save and load points being fucked with mid-fight. That's the level of creativeness that's being showed right now in chapter 4, in my opinion. Just from my observation, there's sort of this correlation in between when the gameplay gets really experimental and when the story locks the fuck in. There was sort of that experimentation happening in chapter 2, I think, with Snowgrave, sort of forcing this route and forcing the other members in your party to go along with this route. It sort of is unexpected. It is different from what happened in Undertale, but Toby has made it abundantly clear that your experience with the game is not going to drastically change based off of whether or not you choose to do one action or the other. So far, we have been able to go into different routes that haven't really been fully addressed at what they mean. And I think as the chapters go on, we may start seeing more of that correlation brought back into play, with what's the guy's name? Jack Stein? That guy's fight, the haunted house sort of fight. The Gerson fight, It sort of brought back that move the arrows to hit the notes sort of gameplay, but it expanded a lot upon that. So I think we're definitely going to see a little more of that and a little bit more experimenting with what you can do with that. Maybe the blue heart will come back as well, and you'll have gravity in the fights. Who fucking knows? Toby, take the wheel. Hopefully he cooks good for us. I want my buffet. And of course the music is fucking popping in both these chapters. I think the second half of chapter 4's music especially, it's so fucking good, dude. Dark Sanctuary, Black Knife, oh my fucking god. Fan-made creations are cool too, but dude, nobody fucking does it like the Fox. The new chapters have been out for I think a week and a half, and I don't think we have found all the secrets that there is to find just yet. Plus, we're also getting chapter 5 next year. I'm praying it's not like Christmas of next year, because I don't want to wait longer than I have to. But yes, if you're just now discovering Deltarune and what it's about, highly recommend that you go play Undertale first, of course. Damn it, I'll say it. You are doing yourself a disservice if you do not go at least check out chapters 1 and 2, because they are still completely free. And the game is worth so much fucking more than $25. I'm surprised he paid that little for it. Anyways, yeah, can't wait to see where this project is going. It's a lot more interesting than I thought it was, especially with these new chapters. I am very invested in what's going on here and what sort of this whole story is going towards. Deltarune forever.